There's a consensus among democratic theorists that an informed electorate with access to accurate and unbiased information and news is foundational to good democratic practice. The news media are understood to play an integral role in making available sufficient information and analysis about government policies, the economy, current affairs, and other events or material required for citizens to be sufficiently knowledgeable so as to participate in the political process. It may seem that the internet, social media, and alternative news sources would have led to a more engaged society, but studies show that Canadians' general levels of political knowledge has steadily decreased. Regarding the ongoing conflict in Israel and Palestine, more than 2/3 of Canadians are either apathetic or uninformed, to the point where they do not have an opinion on the situation, save for they would like to see increased peace and stability. The connection between civic engagement and news media has been examined in great depth. News media has been identified as one of the preeminent forces in setting the public agenda. Traditional media, especially news television and major daily newspapers, remain the most trusted and relied upon source for information and analysis. And while Canadians cognitively understand that bias exists in news media reporting, many do not know the source of the bias, nor do they seek out opinions or analysis. A majority of Canadians indicate that they use the news as an authoritative source for information on important civic issues. While the distinction is not always apparent, there exists a fundamental difference between public and private broadcasters. Private media corporations are typically designed as revenue-generating entities. Public broadcasters are intended to provide a public service. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is Canada's national public broadcaster. It is a federally funded entity with a legislative mandate to deliver information, provide analysis, engage and promote democratic debate, and endure as a resource to educate the public. But does the CBC produce balanced and comprehensive reporting that serves and educates Canadians? My research suggests that the CBC is, in fact, subject to many of the same systemic filters that influence private news media. Whether it is organizational structures, financial requirements, the need to deliver audiences to patrons, the attempt to appease incumbent political regimes, or the selection of personnel who prescribe to specific ideologies, the conditions for filtering news exist within the CBC. And these filters push news reporting towards covering the dramatic story, often omitting the necessary one. Canadians are not informed about Israeli-Palestinian conflict, despite the fact that it has been ongoing for nearly 60 years, and has long been understood as the most important obstacle to peace and stability in the Middle East. The security of millions of people is impacted when juxtaposed against the inherent qualities of a good news story. The conflict apparently does not make the cut. In the last 20 years, there has been a significant decline in coverage and analysis by the CBC of the situation or the Government of Canada's foreign policy approach towards Israel and Palestine. I suggest that CBC News reporting on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is likely a reflection of media filters which pervade the CBC in all reporting. My hypothesis is that systemic filters do exist and Canada's national broadcaster is compromised, which represents a significant loss for Canadians who rely on news media as a source of reliable information, analysis, debate, and diverse opinions. My recommendation is that further research be conducted regarding the impact of news filters on the Canadian public, as well as the CBC's approach to news reporting. I suggest that investigating and reporting news through a human security lens would better inform the Canadian public by providing a more thorough account of the multiple realities of a situation, thereby allowing Canadians to engage in a richer policy dialogue. Thank you.